What's going on, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Benzino and how he used his opportunity to respond to a rumor to blatantly perpetuate homophobia. Can't say that I'm surprised, but let's talk about it.
I don't do regrets. I'm trying to learn from my lessons, but do I get it yet? I want to set an example, but I'm not sure I can handle all my demons. I'm thinking that I should court a vet. I fight for all respect. I'm working overtime to keep in my head. I understand I'll get the love when I'm dead, so my focus is red. Choose to black out on what's keeping me chosen. I've been the token, now the back is the head. On my soapbox.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. This is Georgia, Carolina, your gated and discrimination-free community where we personalize culture and entertainment and then curate a conversation that's based on self-discovery and growth. I am your pop culture coordinator of all things inclusion and awareness, Jordan Renee, and I'm happy to have you back for another video. All right, everybody, today we're talking about former reality TV star Benzino, former owner of The Source magazine, current or former owner of Hip Hop Weekly magazine, and Coi Leray's daddy. And there was some clip of him coming out of a hotel room with another man, and there was speculation amongst the internet streets that he may be gay and or bisexual, right? Mind you, this information that I'm getting is courtesy of Toxic Diamond. I will link the video that I got all of this information from, included with the receipts and the voice clips and all of that stuff, in the description box. So he was on one of those space group chats that are happening on the internet. I'm not sure if it was a Twitter space, Clubhouse, whatever the mix. And he took the opportunity to respond. Now, mind you, what I gathered from his response was a conspiracy theory that white police officers were trying to push a homosexual agenda onto Benzino to smear his name. That's what I gathered from the overarching conversation that he was trying to have. But the details within that voice clip was just spewing blatant homophobia, right? Let's start from the top. He says that somebody is trying to put out these rumors to stain his name, right? Now, he goes on further in the conversation to say that he doesn't care who you're fucking in the ass or who is fucking you in the ass, but that's you. That's you. What you do in your bedroom, that's you. Which, in a general context, is a very appropriate response to something like, you know, what are your feelings about gay people, right? Typically, that would be a response that would not be offensive, but the context in which you're about to frame that within is utterly 100% homophobic, toxic, violent, and threatening towards gay people. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you first say that somebody perpetuating these rumors against you would be staining your name. So if you're tolerant of homosexual people and you have no issues with what people do in the privacy of their own bedrooms, why would the thought of homosexuality be something that would be staining your name? So the thought of homosexuality is inherently and subconsciously a negative thing to you. Clearly. Because you being seen in that light is a negative to you. You being seen as that is something that is so threatening that you are willing to conduct physical violence against somebody. Or at least that's what you insinuated with the things that you said. When you said you pray to God that somebody would come to your face in the streets and say that you were gay. You pray to God that somebody would. You wish would, right? What I'm trying to figure out is where does that come from within you? Because you go on to say that what you do in the privacy of your own bedroom is you, and you don't bother nobody, whatever the case may be. but yet and still the thought of that is so uncomfortable to you. That is so offensive to you that you are willing to reduce yourself. You're willing to reduce yourself to physical violence, all in the name of defending yourself against that being a rumor against you. If that's not homophobia, I don't know what is. The reason why I say that is because you cannot be homosexual. You can acknowledge that you're a heterosexual person without blatantly discriminating the LGBT community. Like, you can, if you were actually not homophobic and just weren't gay, a more appropriate response to that would have just been, I'm not gay. That was my homie. End of story. But you chose to say that you coming out of that hotel room with your friend was normal, right? Because you two are two heterosexual men that, you know, under the context, we're doing things that just men do, right? Anyway, so y'all two being in a hotel room together is normal, but two men of the same sex, but two men being in a hotel room to have sex is abnormal. Why is that? If you're not bothered, if you have no issue with, if it's none of your business what other people do within the privacy of their own bedrooms, then why are you saying you being in a hotel room with another man is normal, but yet somebody else being in a hotel room with another man is not normal? Why is that? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, you can defend yourself without discriminating somebody else. You don't have to smite gay men to defend your heterosexuality. Where does this toxic masculinity come from that you feel the need to defend your heterosexuality so much that you are willing to go to blows over it? It lends me to question the security. It lends me to question the security within your heterosexuality, because I don't understand how somebody is that offended by somebody possibly thinking you being in a hotel room with another man without any type of context. Of course somebody could assume that. It's 2022. Like, of course somebody could assume you being in a hotel room with another man is y'all fucking. Nobody said that was anything negative. You're the one that's interpreting that as negative, and you're the one that's responding to that in a negative context. I don't understand that. Especially if you claim that you're tolerant of gay men. If you claim that you're tolerant of the LGBT community. Listen, if you want to sit here and think that the police are putting this, conspiracy theory against you to try to smear to try to smear your name, that's one thing. You can even defend yourself against that. But blatantly spewing homophobia in the name of defending yourself, that's the part that's crossing the line. Like, you can sit here and say, oh, I think that they're doing this, they're saying this to do this, without bringing us in it. Why we got to be in it? Like, what we do?
Now, why am I in it?
And you could have did it.
See how I get wrong
did, because you never apologized.
What did gay men and the LGBT community do to you? I'm just saying. Like, I mean, I just, like, I don't understand it. I don't have a logical excuse or rhyme or reason for you to have that perspective as a way to defend yourself. Like, you can address the rumor and move on. Why do you have to sit here and drag an entire community that you have nothing to do with, but yet in the same breath claim you're tolerant of? Come on, guy. We can do better than this. This is like, what? Come on, man. Why are... And I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it. This is a real big, huge issue with black men. Why are black men so uncomfortable? Like, the toxic masculinity that black men have to develop in order to defend themselves against the thought of homosexuality or the like, and by the like I mean transamory. Why is that such a life-threatening realization for black men to come to, that they are willing to subject the people who they claim to be tolerant of and or could also probably be in relationships with? Separate conversation. But why does that always have to come to that end, right? I don't understand how people can sit here and say Black Lives Matter and at the same time put somebody like, I just don't. Not even saying, now mind you, he's talking about white cops, but I'm saying that what if the person you came out of the hotel room with was gay? Not to say that he is. I'm not insinuating and I'm not assuming. That's not what I'm saying. Do not take that out of context. What I am saying is, hypothetically speaking, you could be talking about somebody that's very close to you, right? Not even gonna put somebody in the story. You could be talking about somebody who is very close to you and not even know it. Somebody who you could consider your brother, your homie, your ace, right? But I want to get down to the bottom of the history of that with black men, because a lot of that stems in the toxic masculinity that black women perpetuate on black men, where black men are not allowed the same sexual fluidity that black women are allowed, or even anybody else outside of black people are allowed. That is one issue. That's a layer of it, because at the end of the day, black men who love black women, especially black men who at the end of the day are wanting to be considered only attracted to cis black women specifically, they are so controlled by the perspective of heterosexuality and looking straight, especially to black women, that lives are being claimed within our community because of this thinking. And everything that Benzino said in that clip triggered the dog shit out of me, because I've been through situations like this where somebody has been friends with me or been cool with me or just had a conversation with me, never had, like, we weren't even cool. I've had even that happen where somebody has asked me a general question, and because they were being seen speaking to me, that they were considered to be gay, Mind you, all of this was pre-transition. I don't really have this problem as a trans woman, but that's a whole different story. That's a completely different conversation. But I have had those guys, especially, like, I've had guys that were my friends. That's the ones that bothers me. The ones who don't know me, who just flip out, that's something different. Like, it's still wrong, but I don't take that personally. The ones that I took personally were the ones who were my friends, who distanced themselves from me because we were friends. Now all of a sudden they were being considered gay, so they didn't want to be around me, right? But that was my homie for real. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of shit. I've had men who I don't know have a general conversation with me about something just out in the world, and they have been accused of being gay because they were talking about me, and then came to fight me to prove that they were not gay, right? I have been gay bashed because of shit like this. I've had to get into physical fights to defend myself because of shit like this. I've been jumped for shit like this. There's a lot of shit that comes with those narratives. And I'm not saying that black women are the root of it, but I'm saying that black women are a heavy proponent of it because most black men want to be with black women. And then it's just, there's so many layers to it. There's so many layers to it, but I don't want to dive completely into the conversation right now. I really would just want to focus on the point of this specific video, which is black men do not have to endanger the lives of queer people to defend their heterosexuality. You don't have to harm our community to prove that you are not a part of it. Your straightness is not infringent on how much harm you can place on a gay man's body or a trans woman's body. If your heterosexuality is so fragile that someone implying that you could be romantically or sexually involved with somebody who you may not be attracted to or is not in your hemisphere of what you go after, that you are willing to put us and yourself at risk just to prove that point of you being straight, there is a bigger question that you need to ask yourself than why does that person think that? You have more questions to ask yourself than how could that person think that about me? The questions that you need to be asking yourself is, why is my reaction so inherently violent that I feel the need to engage in senseless bullshit just to prove a point? Especially when you stand on the platform of what you do in the privacy of your own bedroom is your own business. Especially when you perpetuate this tolerance of respect of privacy. But yet, if somebody questions your privacy of your bedroom, all of a sudden now people's lives have to be in danger. All of a sudden now you have to inflict violence. Now you have to pray to God that somebody would come to you with that type of shit. There's a lack of security there that I am worried about, and that bothers me, because at the end of the day, whether you are bisexual, trans, amorous, whatever the case may be, whether you're 100% heterosexual, there is nothing in this world that, if you are somebody who is completely content and grounded in what you say you are, that should not shake you that hard. Nothing about that should shake you that hard. There's nothing wrong with addressing the inaccuracy of the statement, but there is nothing that should drive you to that amount of discourse. There's nothing, like, it should not move you to chorus in that way. And I'm not even saying that to insinuate that there is a bend in your heterosexuality. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not implying a damn thing. But what I'm saying is that even heterosexual men have a tendency to be this reactive when it comes to being implied as gay or the like. I've seen 100% heterosexual men that are not questioning their sexuality at all, that have this same complex. So it has nothing to do with the fragility of his sexuality. That has nothing to do with this. I'm saying that it's your security as a man. That's your security as a man, as a human being. It's beyond gender. We all know that I am beyond gender spectrum here. So it has nothing to do with that. That's your security as a person. But as a black man, why? If you're somebody who knows exactly who you are, why would that shake you like that? Like, why would it drive you to want to, what about being accused of being homosexuality drives you to that end to prove a point? Like, what makes you want to go there to prove that point? That is the most confusing part about it for me, or that's one of the most confusing parts about it for me. It just doesn't seem plausible that you can be tolerant of what somebody does in the privacy of their own bedroom and be this homophobic at the exact same time. Especially when all of that didn't have to be. Like, this rhetoric, this, that, none of that had to be said. None of that had to be said, because you are perpetuating and encouraging and embracing and expanding a stereotype that homosexuality is bad. And that's the narrative that you're overcasting this layer of tolerance with. It's like you dropped in that buzzword of whatever you do in the privacy of your own bedroom is you, but then you covered all of that with, I pray somebody would accuse me of being gay. That's this. Like, it's not cool, man. It's not cool. It is not cool. But at the end of the day, that's really all I have to say. If you are somebody who is truly secure with yourself as a human being, then somebody saying something like that, that's genuinely not... I ain't even gonna make that analogy. We just gonna leave that alone. At the end of the day, this shit was not cool, and you can't claim that you're tolerant of what somebody does in their own time, but then be willing to threaten violence and adhere to that threat when you are accused of that same action. I don't hear the tolerance in that. So, with that being said, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. If you're visiting, if you're returning, I appreciate you all for being here. This is Georgia Carolina. If you like the video, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all of the things. And yeah, I love every single one of you guys from the bottom of my green heart emoji, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Goodbye, Mwah.